Aaron, we're talking about our favorite topic in the world today, lead generation. And more specifically, the three pillars of lead generation, which you and I both know being in the lead generation, I guess, world. For you, you could say it's your business at this point. I mean, you are you're a lead generation ninja, by the way. My platform allows lead generation to work properly at scale. So really, it's a good complementing 1-2 punch that you and I bring to the table here. But there's three pillars. And it's so important that you know the three and understand and evaluate where you are in the three, because here's what I'm noticing, Aaron, more and more today with businesses that struggle is they're usually only playing in one of the three little buckets. I'm going to bring up a diagram here in a minute that will make all this visually clear to you. But the three pillars of lead generation is where we're headed today, folks. And it's something that Aaron and I combined. Last I checked, my calculator doesn't even calculate it anymore. It's been so long. It's one of those things where the zeros just go off the screen. I think collectively we're in the online lead generation business combined. It's got to be about 50 years.
It's getting close to it, which is scary. It's getting close, which is scary.
Which is 5 decades of combined online lead generation experience. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because we've seen a lot. Experience matters. Track records matter. And we really see what's working, what isn't working. And things are changing very quickly today because of the internet and social media, online, offline media, a lot of new things coming down the pipe. AI has completely changed the game, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. Is AI has now found its way into the lead generation game. And that's interesting on a lot of fronts. And I think that'll be a big piece of today.
Well, I've got a great real life story to kick us off today. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. So here's the real life story. People, you actually sent me the podcast numbers last week. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of people downloading our podcast, which is great. So if you're downloading our podcast, thank you. I appreciate that. But I think a lot of people might get on here and have the assumption that we know everything, right? So, we couldn't possibly make mistakes or do anything wrong, and there couldn't be any further from the truth. We make mistakes all the time. In fact, if anything, we try to make mistakes as fast as we can so that we can get to the answers that we need.
Good point.
Which is part of the lead generation process. And it's
what is that called, Aaron? Fail fast?
Fail fast, fail forward.
Fail fast.
Right? So when you're testing things, Frank Kern, who's somebody who I've been a fan of for a long time, he has a famous quote that if something works the first time they launch it, they don't consider it a success. They consider it a freaking miracle.
Yeah, seriously. It's almost like it's too good to be true when it happens, right?
It is, really. So you might think that we don't make mistakes. I'm here to tell you today, over the last 6 months, I made a big one. You ready for this, Andrew?
Have you told me this yet?
I'm not sure if I have or not.
Well, I'm gonna hear it with the viewers then. Okay.
So you're gonna show people a diagram in a bit, basically the three pillars of lead generation, where you've got outbound, you've got organic, and you've got paid. Right. Those are the three pillars, right? And you and I are big believers that if you don't have a consistent stream of incoming leads, you do not have a business, you are pretty much dead in the water.
That is right.
And it's just a matter of time, right? So over the last 5 years, which we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary at 7 Mile Media about 3 months ago, which I did take a second to stop and celebrate because there's a small percentage of
I thought it
was
longer, Aaron, 7 Mile Media, to be honest with you.
No. It's been 5 years. I've exited a couple other businesses before that, but for the agency, it's been 5 years. So I stopped and I celebrated it. I think I looked it up and it was something like 10% of businesses make it 5 years. So it's worth celebrating. And I have built 7 Mile Media exclusively off organic traffic.
That's right.
I've
been breaking your chops about this for a long time, by the way.
You have been breaking my chops about it. And I've always said, oh man, we're so in demand all the time that I don't need it. When I need it, I'll do it, and I'll get to it when I get to it, and blah, 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 blah. Well, over the last 6 months, things have got a little bit more difficult in the economy. And quite frankly, I was getting burnt out on being in groups and doing free trainings and being in other people's communities and, outbounding my network and saying, hey, what's going on? Can I have, what problems can I help solve for you? Like, I had taken my foot off of the organic business development side. And as a result, and I'm seeing it now, our business is down significantly. And you can blame it on, so let's talk, actually, let me ask you a question, Andrew. When people's business is down, what are the first things that they start to reach for?
What do they reach for?
Yeah, the excuse. What's the excuse? My business is down. What's the excuse?
They'll blame the economy. They might blame their staff, right? They might just blame circumstances around them. but
Yep.
rarely will they look at deal flow or lead gen, in my view.
So I was in there doing the exact same thing. Oh, the economy. Oh, the election. Oh, the this. Oh,
which
the that.
no doubt is probably a component.
It's a component for sure. But then for me, I'm always about the math. What does the math tell me? So I took a step back and I looked at the math. And I looked at the math in the first half of the year. How many appointments were getting booked on my calendar? How many things was I doing proactively from an organic lead development side? And what have I done over the last 6 months? And the results were shocking. My inbound people on my calendar was down by about half, maybe more. My outbound was pretty much non-existent. And I laughed because I know this, you and I know this inside and out, which is sales cure all. And you can't make sales if you don't have leads. And when I looked at last year with all the biz dev stuff I was doing organically, I was getting about, I would say 20 inbound appointments a month. And I was bringing on out of that maybe 6 to 7 new clients a month. And then I looked at my calendar over the last 6 months and I was getting more like 10 and bringing in 3. Well, with any business that's on recurring revenue, that's on subscription, which our agency is, which your business is at,
right?
You have churn, right? So, we keep our clients a really long time, but if you're not bringing in more new ones than you're losing, your business goes down. So my business went down. And rather than looking at, the team, the economy, the election, all the things that, you can reach for, which are components, I just looked at the math. The math was half. And as a result, the new clients were half. So I'm actually starting the paid lead generation side on the 1st of October for the first time in 5 years, which I don't even want to do. But the reality is you got to do what you teach. I'm out here spending millions of dollars a month on other people's ad campaigns and zero on mine. And if you're going to rely exclusively on organic, we actually have to be doing the things organically at scale that get you the business. And I haven't been, and quite frankly, I don't want to right now. I don't feel like it.
It's an interesting revelation, man. I'm going to bring up this chart here, and it's funny because you do such a good job making paid media work